In this video, I'm going to show you how to use a version of the blend tool to go from something like little gradient dots to a line to making a 3D sort of structure from just using a gradient dot and a stroke. So first what you want to do is figure out what your end design wants to look like. This technique is quite popular with type. But the catch is that you have to create your own type with strokes for this. So I just sort of did a half A here just to show you how it can loop around and find its way into this. And you can see that blue line right there. That is the path. That is my original loop and how the effect has been applied to it. So to start off, what I want to do is make a little circle with your ellipse tool. And then I want to come and I want to make a gradient. Now remember, all you have to do that is make sure that you pluck the gradient from the side. So to do this, all I have to do is click and drag it off and then bring up the swatches. And the reason I like to do this is because with Illustrator, it doesn't really like to have two of those boxes open. And so I just take one off and I can always put it back on by hovering over and waiting for that bright blue line to show up. So the trick here is to make this technique work is that you will need 3 colors. And they can be all different colors, or for this example, to sort of get a fun shading and highlighting, I used a yellow, and then a pink to get these oranges and different things like that. So this circle has been selected and I am applying my gradient to that, and you can see the gradient is my fill color. No strokes on this for these parts are necessary. So if you do have a stroke, just bring this forward and then come down here to your none and make sure you're only on fill. After I've created the sample I want, I need to copy it. So I'm just going to Option Command, click and drag. And then, since I've already copied it, all I have to do after this is do Command D. Now you can make a longer line than this, but this works fine for this little experiment right here. You can add more dots if you'd like to though. First, what I'm going to do is make sure they're all selected by clicking and dragging. I'm going to come up to my Object, Blend, Blending Options. Then, usually ours will be on smooth color. We'll want to have it on specific steps. Now the more you go up with this, the more smooth and fluid it will be. So if I go to 8, it will look chunky, but 200 works really well. Some people go up to 1,000, but the more steps you go up, the slower it can make the program. So just be aware of that. I find that 200, especially when working in small little things like this, works just great. I'm going to push OK. Now, as you can see, nothing has changed. That's because we need to go to one more step. So we're going to go up to Object, Blend, and then Make. And then there we go. So that's our line of dots, and you can see each one of them sort of when I hover over, but now they're blended together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this, click and drag it over, and all I did to make this was actually use my pencil tool, which the hotkey is N, or you can find it right over here, sometimes hidden under the shaper tool. And what I did is I came over, pencil tool, and just with my mouse or trackpad just made a little loop for this demonstration. So I want to make sure this is selected, my stroke, and I want to make sure this is selected. Come up to Object, Blend, Replace Spine. And there we go. So it does look a little bit different than this one that I have because my gradient was slightly different. I expanded the oranges a little bit more, and you can see that here. So I made this up, this little guy, really quick with my pencil tool. It says hi. So again, I'm going to come here. I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to come up to my blend and then replace spine. And then you can always work with this. These are all points that you can play with. So you can come up to your direct selection tool, click on any of these anchor points, and move that around. I'm not saying it will be easy, but you could have fun and play with that. And then you can also come under your pencil or your shaper tool and find your smooth tool, and you can smooth these out as well. So this is smoothing your anchor points out, not really the top part. But in smoothing your anchor points out, it will smooth the edges and help with the transition around curves. Smooth tool is a secret best friend of mine. If you want to move something around, you can go to blend again and then reverse spine. And you can see how originally this section right here was in the front. I selected it, went to the blend, reverse spine, and it pushed that to the back. So it really just depends on the look that you like, but you have those options. And you can reverse back to front. So again, you have time to play, and also, though you're not able to go back and edit how the gradient will look because you're too far ahead there, you can still take a few steps back or easily create this with just doing Command Z a couple times or going edit, undo your steps. It's an easy process to do, but it can be finicky, especially if you're working with longer words. This is definitely more of a niche popular technique, but it can really come in handy and make some interesting design choices and hierarchy understandings with a tad of playfulness. So again, one way to use the blend tool.